Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sunday, December 8th, 2024, and we are bringing you the Geopolitical Investors Podcast here on the Geopolitical Investing Cafe. My name is Javier Novoa. I am an investor, a researcher, an intellectual, and just a normal guy who's trying to find that big geopolitical trade to get outsized returns. We are coming to you live from Dallas, Texas, the home of the Geopolitical Investing Cafe. And ladies and gentlemen, there's a Chinese curse, or it's said to be a curse. I think it's interesting. I think it's a blessing for geopolitical investors, but many people know it. It goes, "May you live in interesting times." And this week has been a very interesting week. Not happily so. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, historically, the Assad dynasty in Syria fell. Bashar al-Assad fled Damascus last night. It is now known that he has arrived in Moscow, Russia. Forces have taken over Syria in just a period of 10 days, ladies and gentlemen. Before 10 days, it was known that the Assad regime was solidifying. They were even welcomed back into the Arab League. And it seemed like business as usual. It seemed like Bashar al-Assad was going to be able to stay in power indefinitely. Then, just in 10 days, Syrian rebel forces took over. How did this happen? I don't know, guys. I'm still researching it. The most important thing is, what are the investment implications of that? So, Bashar al-Assad, a pivotal figure in Syria's modern history, marks the end of over 2 decades of autocratic rule. I'm looking at this from the perspective as a geopolitical investor. What kind of ideas does this source? What kind of investment opportunities are there in this mix? If we can indeed find any, it's a very fluid situation. His departure signals the culmination of years of civil war. I basically just looked this up on ChatGPT, and again, I'm researching the situation. I may deep dive it, because there may be some real gems in here for the future of the Middle East going forward, especially as it relates to Turkey, ladies and gentlemen, because I believe Turkey was a pivotal player in this. The rebel forces, I believe it is a group of a unity of parties, are mainly bankrolled by Turkey. And I think Turkey has a big hand in this. What are the investment implications? Should we be looking to invest in Turkey, and how? Well, that's for coming days and weeks. Again, it's a fluid situation, and I am researching it. Syria now faces a power vacuum with competing factions vying for control. See, these forces, I think it is like Hayat al-Tahrir or something like this, like the forces of purity that are going to come and purify Syria, supposedly. Well, they're already fighting amongst themselves. And of course, they're being supported by, I believe, NATO powers, as well as Turkey. Russia's not very happy about this, but including remnants of the regime, opposition forces, and regional powers seeking to shape the country's future. Key players like Russia, Iran, and Turkey, just like we said, are recalibrating their strategies. Why is Syria so important to this whole dynamic? I am not 100% sure, but I believe it's simply because of Syria's ancient preeminence in that region. You see, Damascus was even the head of one of the Khalifas, of one of the empires, I believe the Abbasids in Islamic history. They're very central, and they've always, I believe, been seen as the central figure of the Arab world. I think it is more symbolic than it is economic. I don't think Syria has a lot of economic resources, although they are very preeminent in business, and they also play a mammoth role in the politics of Lebanon. So Syria is very important, guys. What are the underlying connections for the sake of investment? That remains to be seen, and we will take a look at that. But Meanwhile, Turkey strengthens its buffer zone strategy in northern Syria, further complicating the dynamics. The United States and Europe may see Assad's fall as an opportunity for democratic reforms, but face challenges in stabilizing the nation and countering extremist elements. Of course, there are many extremist elements in these rebel groups. With Syria at the crossroads of strategic oil and gas routes, you see its roots, they're at a central crossroads. So, do oil prices go up now? Should we invest in Oxy? I always love going back to Oxy because it's been a fantasy of mine to invest in Oxy and make a lot of money in it. I've not had much opportunity until perhaps now. Its location serves as a bridge between the Mediterranean and the Middle East and Europe. The geopolitical stakes are immense. So some ideas that just ChatGPT threw up, and we need to research into these deeply, but energy markets. The potential reopening of Syria, see, this is like I talked about in Iran, but perhaps if more democratic and benevolent forces can come to the fore, perhaps there will be an opening of Syria and a lot of economic opportunities for development. That country, of course, being ravaged by 15 years, I believe, of civil war. It's now time to hopefully rebuild. The potential reopening of Syria to international energy investments could impact regional oil and gas routes. Watch for infrastructure projects and pipelines and ports, especially those connecting the Persian Gulf to Europe. Reconstruction opportunities. Syria's rebuilding efforts will require significant foreign capital. Companies in construction, cement, and telecommunications could benefit, especially those aligned with Russia, Chinese, or Turkish interests. Regional stability and risk premiums. Assad's fall may temporarily spike geopolitical risk in neighboring countries like Lebanon, Israel, and Iraq. Investors should monitor sovereign bonds and currencies in the region. Defense and security stocks might go up, guys. It's something to look at. Emerging markets and political risk and humanitarian and NGO growth. So just very quickly, guys, I'm going to be researching this for the next few weeks, the Syria play, and let's see if there's any investment opportunities in that. Besides that, guys, this week has been pretty garden variety as far as my investment steps. Oh, the other thing was the assassination of the CEO of United Healthcare. Very tragically. What does that say for investing? Again, I don't really know, but I'm open to all possibilities. Perhaps something in the insurance industry. Perhaps we should be shorting insurance. For more on that, keep track of my coming research and the shows that are coming. And I just wanted this to be very brief today, but one thing that I was going to announce in our last podcast, and I did not because we didn't have, I had some technical difficulties. We weren't able to put the last podcast up, but here in just a nutshell. I've decided, ladies and gentlemen, I've been testing it for this week. What's the biggest geopolitical sort of bet that I can make right now? Well, it's cryptocurrencies, altcoins, and meme coins. Why is that? Because we're now in I believe, the middle of a bear market in cryptos, and you can look at Raul Paul's channel for that. It's what he calls the banana zone. You see, in an election cycle, and when people are starting to think the economy is looking good due to new liquidity entering into the economy, of course, this is, for those of you who know Austrian economics, this is the boom phase of the business cycle. In the boom phase of the business cycle, people feel like they have more money, and therefore a lot of these cryptos and a lot of these meme coins go up. We see it in Bitcoin. Bitcoin did bust $100,000 this week, and it's a little bit below, but it's going to stay up, and pretty soon $100,000 is going to be the main support for Bitcoin. I continue to dollar cost average into Bitcoin. Remember, this is not advice by any means. I'm not an investment advisor, but what I've decided to do until that big bet crystallizes itself, that big geopolitical bet in which we're going to make 10 to 100 times our income, I want to start putting my money into cryptos. So in that vein, as well as Jack in the Box, because I have that bet in Jack in the Box. And Jack in the Box has also been, by the way, talked about as a company that many funds have been buying. I expect a price increase to come within the next little while in that, because it's being talked about now by analysts. What I was talking about months ago, that Jack in the Box is a very cheap buy. And it is, guys. The trailing PE ratio is about 9. That is a great restaurant stock, ladies and gentlemen. Again, not investment advice. That's where I'm putting my money. But the rest of my money, I'm going to put it into crypto. And I'm going to put 30% of it into Bitcoin. That's going to be my stabilizing bet. And even if Bitcoin goes back down to 40 or 20, I hope it does, guys, because that means that I'm going to mortgage everything to buy Bitcoin, because it's going to go back up to $100,000. Indeed, it's going to go to $1 million, and as Michael Saylor says, 13 million, just because of the macro dynamics of that. This is the future of currency. It is the future of money. It's going up, guys. The other 70%, I'm going to bet it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be looking at technical factors, which I don't usually do. And I'm going to be looking at altcoins and meme coins. I already put a position in XRP, and it's gone down a little bit. It has recovered, and I'm about broken even on that. But I believe that altcoin has the potential to double, triple, and even 10 times our money. You see many of these altcoins going up by 10,000%. I think we can get lucky if we follow the technicals, and hopefully we will find one that will multiply. That's my bet. So that's what I'm doing, guys. I'm staying in Jack in the Box and Bitcoin as I have been. But I'm going to marshal all of my financial resources now into altcoins, into meme coins, knowing full well that I can lose a lot of it, but positioning myself for a win until and unless that geopolitical leverage bet comes up, which I will tell you about. Then I will be pouring the entirety of my portfolio into that. Let's make some money, guys. And this has just been a short podcast. Thank you for joining us. If you like our work here, please do subscribe to the channel, like the videos, help us grow, and mainly join a community of like-minded people where we can have a conversation. Please have a conversation with me. If you think I'm wrong, comment in the comments. Let us know where we're wrong. We can have a great discussion. We can help each other. So I hope you have a wonderful week, guys. And until very soon, this